Hi Verbling, my name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about past tenses. Igor, welcome to class.
Hello, teacher. How are you
Hi,
doing?
I'm doing really well. Igor, how are you?
I'm doing well, too. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was not really great because my mother has been hospitalized and I
Oh, I'm
had
so
to.
sorry.
Well, it's not really that you know that serious, but the fact that she was hospitalized, yeah, that fact
So,
really drove me mad for a couple of days.
not an easy weekend then.
Yeah,
Maybe this week will be better.
I hope so.
All right. Dimitri, welcome to class.
Hello,
Hi, Dimitri. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing really well. Is this the first time I've had you in one of my classes?
Yes, it is.
It's nice to meet you, Dimitri. Where are you from?
From Russia?
Awesome. Good to have you here with us. And Sajid, welcome to class.
Hello, teacher.
I'm doing well. How are you, Sajid?
Still, you are enjoying the cup of tea or cup of coffee?
Yes, tea. I'm having some Earl Grey tea
That's
in
good.
my Rome mug.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let's get started talking about the past tense. I'm going to put notes in the chat box for you, the link, but the format is a little funny, so it will be easier if you follow along when I screen share. And in the meantime, let's talk about what are some possible tenses we use to talk about the past. Dimitri, give us an example of one tense we use in the past.
Oops, sorry. Yes, past simple, for example.
Yeah, simple past or past simple, however you want to say it, is a great example of a past tense. Igor, what's another one?
I joined the class.
Huh?
I joined the class.
You joined the class.
Yes.
Oh, like an example of the simple past. Okay, yes, that is a good sentence that gives us the simple past. And Igor, what is another example of a different tense we can use in the past?
Mhm. I had joined the class before doing something else.
And what tense is that?
Past perfect.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Sajid, can you think of any others that we can use to talk about the past? Sajid, are you there? Uh-oh. Okay. So we said simple past, we said past perfect. We have a couple others. Can you guys think of any others that...
I were doing it for a long time.
Did you
I
say I
was,
have been doing it?
yes.
Okay, and what tense is that?
Well, it's technically it's present,
Mm-hmm.
present perfect, but it somehow refers to their to their action in the past.
Yeah. So present perfect can refer in a way to things that have already happened before now. So they are kind of a tense we use to talk about the past, even though they're called a present tense because it's something that happened in the past up until now. So it's a tense that has kind of one foot in the present, one foot in the past. But that's a good example of one we use in the past, or to describe things that occurred before now.
Also, I was thinking.
Yeah, was thinking. Exactly. progressive. So past progressive is another excellent example. And Jose, welcome to class.
Hello.
Hi, Jose. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. And you?
I'm doing really well. Excited to get our past tense going. So let's move over to the notes now that we've talked a little bit about some of the past tenses that we might be using today. We're going to do some fill in the blank, if I can get this screen share to work. Here we go. We're going to start with some fill in the blank, and your options are all of the ones we just talked about. It's simple past, present perfect, past perfect, and all of those you could also have in the progressive. So we could have past progressive, we could have present perfect progressive, or past perfect progressive. So we're going to have to choose between a lot of different tenses to fill in these blanks in the appropriate ways. Do you guys have any questions before we get going? Let's see. Oh, I see we have a question in the chat box about make up one's mind. I have difficulties adding words to that expression. I finally made up my mind to buy an Android phone instead of an iPhone. Yes, that is correct, Igor. And when you use that expression, you have to use a to infinitive. So make up your mind to do the dishes, to drive the car, whatever. You have to add a to infinitive if you're going to go with a verb. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to add a to infinitive almost no matter what. Or you can just end the sentence without adding anything on. Does that answer your question? It's a great expression. Awesome. All right. And Carlos, welcome to class.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Carlos?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Carlos, are you ready to get started with fill in the blanks using the present perfect, past perfect, simple past, and progressive tenses?
Let's go.
All right. Let's do it. Then you can be our lucky number 1 and read the A and B lines and try to fill in the blank with an appropriate tense using the words in parentheses.
Okay. Did you like the movie Star Wars? I don't know. I never saw that movie.
All right. So what tense did you use?
Past simple?
Past simple. All right. That's an option. I never saw that movie.
But
we have another option.
I think I could say I have never seen that movie.
Yes, have never seen. And in my opinion, have never seen is a little bit better. Both are okay tenses to use here, but present perfect is better. Does anyone know why?
I think...
Sorry.
No, talk if you want. Don't worry.
Go on.
How polite. All right. Then, Carlos, go ahead and explain it for us.
I think the past simple don't have any connection with the present, but the other past have a connection from the past from here until here.
Exactly. So the word never gives us a situation when we're talking about the past up until now. So we could use the simple past, and it would make an okay sentence. I never saw that movie. But it makes a little more sense to say I have never seen that movie because your entire life up until now, you haven't seen that movie. Thanks, Carlos. Great answer. And Amr, welcome to class. Glad to see you here. Glad you could make it today.
Hi, Michaela.
Have you been working hard, Amr?
Yes, I've just come from my work right now.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you came into class. Would you like to try number 2 and fill in the blank with a tense in the past, we're deciding between present perfect, past perfect, simple past, and past progressive tenses as well. So we have a lot of options here. Read the sentence and try to see if you know which is the most appropriate.
Sam,
Did you say Sam arrived? Uh-oh. I'm having a little trouble hearing you. Can you hear me, Amr? Uh-oh. All right, I'll come back to you in a second then. Hopefully you'll be able to get your audio working. It looks like you're having a muting problem. In the meantime, Dimitri, would you like to do number 2 for us?
Okay, I think Sam arrived in San Diego a week ago.
Yeah, so which tense?
It's past simple.
Mm-hmm. And why do you know that?
I'm not sure. I know that we have a result, and it was 1 week ago.
Yep. So this time phrase definitely gives us a big clue into why it's the simple past.
Yes.
That time phrase means like one time in the past, and we can eliminate the present perfect because it's not up until now. Are there any other tenses that would work for this spot?
Maybe Sam have arrived in San Diego.
Present perfect?
Yes.
Not quite. Actually, we can't use present perfect because present perfect is something that happens up until now.
Yes, okay.
But you're close. It is a perfect tense. What's the other perfect tense we can use?
Had arrived. Past
Had
perfect.
arrived is another possibility. We could say he had arrived. However, in this particular situation, it makes more sense to use the simple past. Does anyone know why in this sentence it makes more sense to use the simple past?
No.
Because you have a timestamp a week ago.
Yes, that's true, but that's a time phrase that we can use with the past perfect, but there's something else that we need for the past perfect that we don't really have here.
Well, we don't have any past in the past action. Like we only have one action here.
Yes, exactly. So, although both are technically possible, when we use past perfect, we usually need some kind of timeline of events. Like I might say, Sam arrived in San Diego a week ago, and he had felt sick the entire trip, or something like that. So that way I would give you a comparison, a timeline, and other events that relate to the time of the past perfect tense as well. Here we don't have that. We only have one verb tense, and it's just kind of a simple sentence. So it makes more sense to use the simple past than the past perfect, even though both are technically possible. All right. Number 3. Amr, did you get your audio figured out? All right, I don't hear you, so I'm going to ask Jose to do number 3 for us.
My best friend and I have known each other for over 15 years. We still get together once a week.
Excellent. So how do you know it's present perfect?
Because it's still true. No? We know each other nowadays.
Exactly. So it's a period of time that is up until now. Awesome. Thanks. Number 4. This one is for Sajid. Will you try this one out, Sajid?
Yeah. Stinson is fantastic writer. He wrote 10 he write 10 very creative short stories in the last year.
All right. So
Or
which 10 did you
he
choose?
had written 10 stories.
Whoa. I'm having a little trouble understanding your audio. Is it just me?
No, it's cutting out for me too.
Okay, just making sure. So I'm having a little trouble understanding you, Jose. Can you try to repeat it or put your answer in the chat box? That's another option too. Jose, do you hear me?
Yes, but you were asking Sahid.
Oh, you're right. Totally sorry. Sajid, are you there? Sajid, if you can hear us, put your answer in the chat box for us. And Amr, are you back?
Yes.
Yay, you got your audio figured out. I'm so glad.
Google doesn't like me.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes Google just picks random people to pick on and be mean to, and today I guess it was you.
It muted me every time I try to speak. It mute.
Yeah, I noticed something funny was happening with your mute button. How strange. But I'm glad it's over. So will you try number 4?
Sure. Stone is a fantastic writer. He belonged 10 very creative short stories in the last year. He wrote 10 very creative short stories in the last year. One day, he will be as famous as Hemingway.
Thanks. Okay, so wrote is an option, but I think there's actually another tense that we could use here as well that might even be a little better. Can you think of one other tense that might fit here, Amr?
I think we can't use any sentence else because last year that action is already happened.
Yes, it is a tricky phrase because last year, when we think about last year, it seems very clear like it was like one time and it's past, it's over. And that's it. But the phrase is not just last year, the phrase is in the last year. So can anyone explain the difference to me between he wrote 10 very creative stories last year and he wrote 10 very creative short stories in the last year? What's the difference there?
In the last year means during the year?
Yes, kind of like during the last year. It's similar. So how does that differ between last year and in the last year?
The action was continuous for a period of time, maybe.
Yes, definitely. It's a period of time, and this in the last year kind of implies that it's up until now. So if I said he wrote 10 very creative short stories last year, that would probably mean in 2013 he wrote 10 creative short stories. But if I say he wrote 10 very creative short stories in the last year, it means that in the last 12 months until now, he blank these very creative short stories. So if we're talking about a period of 12 months up until now, what other tense might be possible, Amr?
Present perfect.
Mm-hmm. And how would that sound? Read us the sentence with present perfect.
He has, I think, a present perfect present. He has written, or maybe he has been writing.
All right, that works too. He has been writing. Okay. Well, actually, all of those would work pretty well, but I think that the present perfect answers are a little bit better than the simple past because of that time phrase, which is a little bit confusing. And it's a trick because last year usually does signify a simple past sentence. Do you guys have any questions on that one? It was a little bit complex. All right, then let's do number 5. And we're back to Dimitri. Can you do number 5 for us?
Okay, I will try. A moment. I can see. Can't see it.
Do you need me to change the screen?
Yes. No, I found it. I have. How to say? I'm not sure, but I haven't this much fun since I've been a kid. I'm not sure because I don't understand what this sentence tried to say us.
Interesting, yeah. We have 2 blanks in this sentence, so it's a little bit more difficult than some of the other ones we've already done. And I'll give you a hint here. We have 2 blanks, meaning that we're setting up a timeline. We have 2 different events happening, and they're at different times. So we're going to use different tenses for each of the blanks.
Yes.
So Dimitri, do we have any clue words that might help us find out any words that usually go along with one tense or another?
Since.
Yes, since. We don't have that much in this sentence, but since is kind of a good clue word for a perfect tense.
Yes, I think since I've been a kid. I was a kid. Sorry, I was a kid.
All right, so
but
we've decided that this one is simple past, and I think that's a great example. I think that's the perfect tense for that spot. And we have the word since, so what is this blank going to be?
I think present perfect.
It is going to be present perfect. How would that sound?
I haven't had this much.
Exactly. I haven't had this much fun since I was a kid. Perfect.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks. All right. Number 6, Igor. Getting more and more complex. This one has 4 blanks. So you can go slowly, maybe read it once over before answering any of the blanks. Good luck.
Things changed a great deal at Caltech Inc. Incorporated. When we first started working here 3 years ago, the company had only 6 employees. Since then, we expanded to include more than 2,000 full-time workers. Hello?
Yeah, yes, excellent job. What about the tenses? You want to start filling in these blanks?
Changed. Things changed.
Okay, so you think simple past for the first one.
Okay. Simple past for the second one.
All right.
First. Simple past for the third one.
All right.
And present perfect for the last one.
Okay. And how does that last one sound?
We have expanded.
Yes. Okay. Does everyone agree with the way that he wrote these sentences?
Sorry?
Does everyone agree with the way he completed these sentences? Is it simple past, simple past, present perfect?
I'm not sure, but I think that maybe things have been changed.
You're close. So you changed it to the perfect tense, but you also made it passive. And passive is a little bit strange here. So
Okay.
the passive part isn't ideal, but the perfect part I think works really well. So how can we change this to the present perfect without being passive?
Me?
Sure.
Things have changed. Okay.
Yes. Have changed. So I think have changed, the perfect tense, is a little bit better for this first one because we're talking about the changes over a period of time, probably up until now. They're comparing what the company was like when they first started and what it's like now. So I think present perfect works a little better, but that one's hard because they don't really give us any clues in the first sentence, like time phrases or anything. So that one's kind of tough. The next one, when we first started working here 3 years ago, I think that one's ideal. I think simple past is the perfect tense for that one. The company had only 6 employees. Yeah, all right. Only, except this should be only had. That was my fault. I should have put only had. All right. Only had 6 employees. Since then, we have expanded to include more than 2,000 full-time workers. I think it sounds good now. Does anyone else have a suggestion or an idea or any questions on this one?
Yes, I guess the first one changed. Maybe we can use past perfect because it was the first action in the process, and it's like a series.
Okay, so you put had only had. Is that correct?
No, not here. The first one, things had changed.
Okay, you put had changed for this one up here.
Yes.
All right.
Does it work?
I don't think it's the best tense to use for this one because it's still a company. So it has to be talking, it's either the simple past or talking about a time up until now, because in the last sentence they're talking about how now they have expanded 2,000 full-time workers and the company still exists, or it seems like it still exists. So I don't think that past perfect is the best tense for that sentence. It's not grammatically incorrect, but with the context, it's a little bit awkward.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments or questions on number 6 before we go on to number 7? All right. Then, Jose, can you do number 7 for us?
I told him to stay on the path while he was hiking, but he wandered off into the forest and he was bitten by a snake.
All right. So for the first one, what tense did you use?
Past simple.
All right. Does everyone agree with him there? I told him to stay on the path.
Yes.
All right. How about the second one? What tense?
past simple. The same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonder. Everyone agree with him there?
I guess no.
Huh?
I guess past perfect.
Past perfect. So that would be had wandered. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. We'll talk about that one a little more in a second. And how about this last one, Jose? What did you put for the last one?
Was beaten is past continuous, I think. Or
Mm-hmm. This one is passive, so it's a little different than the other ones, but it's simple past for the verb to be. All right. So let's talk a little more about the second one where we had a little bit of opinion. Amr, you said that you had put had wandered, right?
Yes.
Would you change any of the other blanks? Or did you keep all the other ones the same in the simple past?
Keep them same.
Okay, so then again, we kind of have a little bit of an awkward situation because we're not comparing that tense to anything else. Usually when we use the past perfect, we have to say something like, he wandered off into the forest when he was bitten by a snake. But we don't have the when, we have and, which means that it kind of probably happened around the same time. It's not a comparison, it's kind of like this and this. So the past perfect is not ideal for that one. Even though the past perfect and the simple past are frequently pretty interchangeable. And if you wanted to, you could create a sentence here with the past perfect by putting all of them in the past perfect maybe. Something like, I had told him to stay on the path while he was hiking. But he had wandered off into the forest and was bitten by a snake. That might make a little more sense if you wanted to change one of them to the past perfect as well. But I think ideally all of these are written in the simple past for this sentence. Okay, this is hard work, guys. Let's keep moving. We've got number 8, and I think, Amr, it's your turn. Go for it.
Listen, Donna, I don't care if you miss blank the bus this morning. You'll be late to work too many times. You are fired.
What do you think? How about the first blank?
Missed.
All right, missed, simple past. And the second blank?
You was late to work too many times.
Okay, so
Were.
were is in the simple past as well, right?
Yes.
What about this time phrase? Too many times. So when we say too many times, we know that we're talking about more than one occasion, right?
Mm.
And if we use more than one occasion, we can't actually use the simple past because the simple past talks about one event or one time. But if it's happened many times, what's a better tense?
You've been late to work too many times.
Yeah, exactly. You have been late to work too many times. Awesome. Thanks, Amr. Number 9. Yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
The proper verb for to use with the pronoun you, was, or were.
For the simple past, were.
Yes, were.
You were, exactly.
Gotcha.
Great. Number 9. We're on to Dimitri. Go ahead and try it. It's another tough one. 4 blanks. That's a lot. Dimitri, are you there?
Sorry. I tried to fill out the form, but I couldn't answer half of questions. They wanted me to include references, but I didn't want to list my previous landlord because I had have some problems with him in the past, and I knew he wouldn't recommend me. I had ended up listing my father as a reference.
Okay.
Oh.
So we had simple past, past perfect, and it was a lot. Does anyone here disagree with any of the answers he gave? Tried, wanted, had, and had ended?
Maybe I am. I
Yeah?
think that probably past perfect in the first one, no?
So
I
had
haven't
tried?
tried to fill out the form. Yes.
All right, and that's the only one you would change?
Yes, they want it. It's simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next one is simple too. I had some problems with him in the past.
Okay.
And the last one, probably past perfect too.
This one here, he already has it in the past perfect.
Sorry?
So that one was already in the past perfect. You wanted to
Yes,
change
yes.
it to something else?
No, past perfect, yes.
Okay. All right, so let's go over this. The first one, you have multiple options. You can say, I tried to fill out the form, or I had tried to fill out the form. Both are possibilities. Because we don't give a specific time, there's no real time phrase to tell us which is more correct. Either of those are possible. The next one, they wanted me to include references. There's no option there. It has to be in the simple past, which is what you guys said. The next one we have is we've got options. I had some problems with him in the past, or I had some problems with him in the past. Now, I think both are possible, but because we say in the past and it's more than one problem, I would say had is probably a little bit better because, yeah, it's more than one problem in the past. So it's probably not something simple. It's a little more complex than that. But both are really not bad. Simple past isn't really that bad for that one. The last one I'm having a little trouble with here. I feel like that one is a little awkward in the past perfect because it said I had ended up listing my father as a reference. So we have this situation where we use the past perfect already to say that we had some problems in the past, and this isn't at that same time. This is not talking about when you had problems. It's talking about something that happened later than that. So since we've already used the past perfect to talk about a time before the event of filling out the form, I think that one works best as the simple past because that creates a good timeline. So I tried to fill out the form, but I couldn't answer the questions. These are both in the simple past. They wanted me to include references, simple past. I didn't want to list my previous landlord, simple past. And then you say, before all of that happened, there were problems. I had problems. I had problems with my landlord in the past. So you say, all of these things were happening in the past, but before those events, a different thing happened. And then you come back to the simple past because, again, this happened after the other event in the past. Does that make sense?
For me, yes.
Okay. I know, it's totally complex, and storytelling is really hard sometimes because you have to think all of this stuff through really well. But we're getting better day by day. Let's do number 10. And I think it's Igor's turn.
Sam is from Colorado, which is hundreds of miles from the coast, so he's never seen the ocean. He should come with us to Miami. So, present perfect.
And why did you put present perfect?
He has never seen the ocean up until this point in the time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Never is usually a pretty good point for the present perfect. That was simple enough. Thanks, Igor. Number 11, Jose.
How sad, George. Dreamed of going to California before he died, but he didn't make it. He have never seen the ocean.
Like that? Okay. So the first one we have the simple past, and the second one we have the present perfect. The first one is definitely good. George dreamed of going to California before he died. We have another option for that one as well. Does anyone know what the other option is for that one?
Had dreamed.
Yes, had dreamed. That's the other option because it might have happened. Maybe it was a consistent thing. Maybe he dreamed many times of this, and it's something that happened in the past because it happened before he died. So here we could use the simple past. That's fine. We also could use the past perfect, which is a great solution as well. This one is pretty good, but we have to make at least one little correction. What's the correction we need to make here?
Has.
Had never
All right.
seen.
So first of all, we need to change that. If we're going to use the present perfect, we need to change that to has because it's he has never seen the ocean. But I don't think this is the best tense. Does anyone know why this is not the best tense to use here?
I guess we have to use past perfect because the George died already.
Yeah, we have to use the past perfect if we're going to use perfect here. Because unfortunately, George is dead. So it really can't be something up until now because now he's obviously not dreaming of going to California anymore. So instead of saying had seen, we would say had. He had never seen the ocean. All right. We have one more on the page before we go on to our next page, and it's a complex one. So I'm going to ask Amr to do this one for us, read it through, and then go back to fill in the blanks.
I can't hear you.
Can you read number 12 and then go back to fill in the blanks?
Okay. In the last 100 years, traveling blank much easier and very comfortable. In the 9th century, it blank 2 or 3 months to cross North America by covered wagon. A trip blank very rough and often dangerous. Things blank a great deal in the last 150 years. Now you can fly from New York to LA in a matter of hours. In the last 100 years, traveling became much easier and very comfortable. In the 9th century, mm, it took it took 2 or 3 months to cross North America, a covered region. The trip um, the trip was very rough and often dangerous. Things 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 have changed in a great deal in the last 150 years. Now you can fly from New York to LA in a matter of hours.
Okay. So in the first one you have simple past, the next one simple past, the next one simple past, and the last one present perfect. Is that right?
Yeah.
Does anybody disagree with him?
I'm not sure, but maybe the trip had been very rough.
Okay. So that's for the third one, right?
Yes.
Here. That actually is not a very good change to make because we're not talking about, wait, did you use the past perfect or the present perfect?
Past perfect.
That's closer. And we could change the sentence to use the past perfect there, but it doesn't work really well because we're talking in general about what a stereotypical trip was like, not like specific trips taken. So I would keep that one in the simple past because it's more general.
Yes, okay.
There's another one I think that could be changed though. Does anyone see another one that might be changed? Nobody?
In the last 100 years, traveling have become much easier and very comfortable.
Like this?
Have become, yes. I don't know why though. Like last 100 years, like there is no particular time here, at least for me.
Means present.
I can't hear you.
Yes, we can't hear you, Michaela.
Something's not right there.
Yes. Trouble connection. Can't hear you. Oh, she's gone. I guess you're right, because it's similar to the last one, the last option.
Who knows?
No, no. No, we can't hear you. Igor.
Okay.
The last blank. Are you agree with me? I used the present perfect
I see.
because I think it's similar to the first blank when you said that we have to change it to present perfect.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like maybe we can hear from teacher, but it doesn't look like it.
Oh,
It's
Killer. It happens to you today.
looks like the class is over.
Probably, yeah.
is this better?
Yeah.
Oh my
Finally.
gosh. Yay! Sorry about that, guys. I have
You,
no idea what was up.
you finally
Okay.
got them through.
Yeah, finally. Crazy stuff. Maybe it was my connection. Maybe it was just Google being a meanie. I don't know. But let's go back to the one, I'm not sure if you guys have moved on, but the one we were talking about, number 12, there was one other small little mistake that I wanted to point out. In the first blank, we put have become. Does anyone know what the difference should be? What we should change that to?
That's what I suggested before you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the tense is good, but there's a smaller problem. Does anybody know?
What are you talking about?
All right, so look at number 12, the very first blank. We said have become. Traveling is a singular thing, like
Has
he, she,
become.
or it. Yes,
Traveling has.
very small little thing, but just wanted to point that out before we move on to number 13. And I think we're going to be able to finish this before we wrap up class. Yay! Okay, so number 13, I think it's Jose. Will you try that one for us, Jose?
Yes. Johnny, I can't believe how much you have changed since the last time I saw you. You have grown at least a foot.
All right. Excellent tenses. How did you know it was the perfect tense for the first one?
Because the action is still until now, no? Since the last time I saw you, no? It's until now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's until now, and we have this nice little time phrase there, since the last time. So when we have since, frequently we're showing the difference between one time and another, and here we're comparing the present perfect, how much you have changed since the last time I saw you, a little bit earlier than that. Awesome job. Number 14, we're almost finished. Amr, go ahead and read number 14 and try it out for us.
It was total luck that he went to give me the apartment. turns out that it turns out that the landlord and my father belonged to high school together. He decided that I could have the apartment before he drank, and at my credit report, I really lucked out.
Awesome. So go try the first blank for us.
Had decided
Okay. What about the second blank?
went to high school together. He decided that I could have the apartment before he looked at my credit report.
Okay. So, before we talk about them each individually, I'm going to briefly mention that when we use the simple past and the past perfect, we're usually describing a timeline. So you might say, like, these things happened, but before these things happened in the past, a different thing happened further back in the past. So looking at these events, do you think that he gave this person the apartment before or after the father went to high school with the landlord?
After.
After, yes. So this one is more recent, this one here, the first one. It's more recent than the second one. So would you change anything now?
Yeah. He decided.
Okay.
The landlord and my father had gone.
Yes, exactly. So decided, had gone, and looked. Does anyone have a different suggestion or question or solution here? All right. So if you guys want to try out some of these homeworks, I have a little more here for you. All of these statements talking about the past describe the year I was born. You can try to figure out which year that was and make one of your own and send it to me on Facebook if you want. All right. I've got to run to my next class, but thank you guys all for coming and bearing with me while my connection audio was malfunctioning. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.
Sure.
Bye.